Hello, and welcome to 3 Lessons in 1 by Nathan Frost and Chris Soderstrom. Part 1 will be about finding the vertex and the qualities of a quadratic function. When taking the original formula, a x minus h squared plus k, you can find the vertex by finding the h and the k. If you are left with standard form, you would need a factor to find the vertex form. When there is a change in k, the function shifts along the vertical axis or the y-axis. And when k is less than 0, the function shifts downwards along the vertical axis, and when k is greater than 0, it shifts upward. When there is a change in h, the function will shift left and right across the horizontal axis or the x-axis. When it is less than 0, it shifts left. When it is greater than 0, it will shift right. A thing to remember is that x minus 7 will be x minus a positive 7, and an x plus 7 will be x minus a negative 7. If a, the number in front of the first parentheses, is less than 0, it will open down, and if it is greater than 0, it will open up. If the a is greater than 1, it will be more narrow, as between 0 and 1, it will be wider. In this example, you will need to take x minus 3 squared and put to x minus 3 and x minus 3. Then you multiply the parentheses together with the box or FOIL method to get 3 parentheses x squared minus 6x plus 9 parentheses plus 5. Then you would distribute the 3 to everything in the parentheses like this. 3x squared minus 18x plus 27 plus 5, and then you add 27 and 5 to get the final equation shown. An example, you have the graph for f of x 3 parentheses x minus 3 squared plus 5. The parent equation is x squared. A is greater than 0, so it will open up. The h is greater than 0, so it will shift right. And the k is also greater than 0, so it will move up. The function will be more narrow because it is greater than 1. Here we move on to part 2. The goal is to make a quadratic equation out of 3 points, and the points available are 1, 1, 2, 4, and 3, 1. First, you need to plug it in to ax squared plus bx plus c, shown here. As you see, 1 will just make everything a plus b and plus c equals 1. The next step is to subtract equation 2 by 1 to get 4, and 3 by 1 to get 5. It will look like this. And I will give you time to write this down. Now the next step is to subtract equations 5 by 4. Try to eliminate either a or b by placing what in this equation is a negative 3 multiplying everything across. This will become negative 9 equals a negative 9a minus 3b. And subtracting that by equation 4, the original, will give you minus 9 equals 6a, or a equals negative 1.5. Now we find b. First off, you need to substitute a in for all the a's in the equations for 4 or 5. We chose 4 for this equation, and plugging it in will create 3 equals negative 4.5 plus b. Then you add 4.5 to both sides to get 7.5 equals b. Now you take the first equation that we started off with and insert a and b. That will be 1 equals 1.5 plus 7.5 plus c, and 1 equals 9 plus c, Subtract 9 from both sides, c equals 10. For the final part of part 2, you will have to plug in a, b, and c into formula f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Our final answer will be negative 1.5x squared plus 7.5x plus 10. Part 3 will be covering rates of change. Here's the scenario. Suppose you need 3 different types of equations, an exponential, a quadratic, and a linear. Which one would surpass the others? Start with 3 equations. F of x equals 2x plus 20. F of x equals 3 squared plus 10. F of x equals 2x squared plus 4x plus 8. The first one being a linear, second being an exponential, and third being the quadratic. The first step is to go to your table key in your calculator and plug them all in, making a chart below. We have one that is blank for you to make it easier. F of x equals 2x plus 20 will get you negative 3, 14, negative 2, 16, 1, negative 1, 18, 0, 20, 1, 22, 2, 24, 3, 26. Seems to be going by 2. X cubed plus 10 will get you negative 3 and 17, negative 2 and 2, negative 1 and 9, 0 and 10, 1 and 11, 2 and 18, and 3 and 37. And the final quadratic equation of 2x squared plus 4x plus 8 will give you negative 3, 14, negative 2, 8, negative 1, 6, 0, 8, 1, 14, 2, 24, 3, and 38. What if you wanted to know a future date for the graph? You could graph the equation and make an educated guess, or you could apply your year number to the x in the equation. Here's an example. For the second graph on the last page, the data is translated into town census. Anything negative 3 or below is not counted since there cannot be negative people. Anything below 0x can't be counted because there are not negative years. The people in the town need to know the number of people in the 13th year. How many will be available? If you plug it into an example, town B, you will plug it in to 13 cubed plus 10, and that will equal a population of 2,207. If you compare this with the third graph, or town C, who at 13 years will have a population of only 398. But onto your own work, who have a higher population in 200 years, graph 1 or 3? The answer will be fairly obvious of graph 3 having the higher population. And that'll be the end of these 3 lessons. Hope you have your notes already written out. Moving on to your worksheet, you will have 3 questions with graphs asking you to find the vertex and graph the equation, and a 2-parter question of number 4. We have to convert the items from standard formed vertex and vice versa, and then just tell the information that was given in the first 3 questions. It's suggested for the second part of the worksheet that you get out a separate sheet of paper for the answers, for the work is very long, and one of the questions on the part 2 does not actually have an equation, so if you seem to be coming up short on one of them, don't panic. Part 3 will be based on that town analogy we had earlier, except this time with different equations, and you have to graph it on a separate sheet of graph paper that will be given out to you. That is it from us. Now we're going to be seeing all the fine next videos that will be popping up after us, and it's now time for you to complete your worksheet. So goodbye.